This is Coach Charlene, and oh my gosh, it's been a little while since I've been live, but I wanted to come live because I paused for the month of September, and it was more so me pausing on posting as much and going live on social media. And it was great actually to be able to just like take time away from all of the noise and just reflect. My intention for pausing was more so just to make sure that I'm still in alignment with what I intended to do when I early retired. It has been let me see, I retired July 4th, 5th last year. So it's been a month and I mean, it's been like 14, 15 months already. And so that's super, super awesome for me. But I want to leave this message for you guys. So recently, I have been really enjoying keynote speaking. And so if you know anybody out there that wants someone to come in and to transform their teams, and I am your girl. But it was super amazing. I just finished doing let's see, what did I do? I just finished doing the Watson Curing Science Southwest event. It was a fall event. And then just yesterday, I went and I spoke for um, the AORN in San Francisco. And so that one was in person. It was like really amazing. Really, really amazing. So I'm super excited about all the things that are happening. But I wanted to share some of the message that I shared with the Southwest folks because in this short little newsletter that I sent you, I start thinking about our lives. And especially since it's the fall season, I start thinking about when the ground beneath you shakes. You know, when you start having challenges that are going to come, let's just get that situated right now. The challenges of life are going to come. And so as we enter into fall season, we're reminded that change is not only inevitable, it's actually necessary for our growth. If we're going to be the highest expression of ourselves, then change is going to come. And so, just like the trees, they show us how letting go can actually be beautiful. Leaves fall, but that doesn't mean that they don't have purpose. That means that they're opening up space and preparing for something new. And so that's kind of what I want you to look at it. I want you to look at it like the seasons. Our lives carry fault lines, places of shifting, places of pressure, places of breaking. And the moment can feel so uncertain and so unsettling, as though the ground beneath you is absolutely moving. Yet, just like with autumn, it prepares the way for spring, for winter's actually rest, and then for spring. And so these fault lines are sacred invitations to transformation. That's really how you have to see it. Why do I feel like the ground is shifting beneath my feet? It's because it is preparing you. Is it an invitation for you to change? What looks like a breaking point may also be your becoming or even a breakthrough in your life. So it's all in how you see it. When I think about healthcare in particular and nursing, the healthcare, we know there are so many fault lines and then we know them all too well. They don't always show up with cracks in the earth. They actually show up in us in cracks in our earth, in our temple, where our body starts breaking down, our soul starts being weary because of those fault lines. So burnout, compassion fatigue, emotional exhaustion, and the constant grinding and the constant pace that never really seems to slow down. We hold space for others that are in pain when we haven't even processed our own pain. We push past our limits because that's what the system demands. But deep inside, the fault lines are like literally forming. So That's why I actually messaged the talk that I did, Shifting Fault Lines, Rising into the Highest Expression of Yourself through the Force of Love. Because when the ground shifts and the seasons change, love becomes the force that steadies us. It's the force that lifts us. It's the force that forms us into something higher than we were before. Here's the paradox though, fault lines can also be the birthplace of mountains. And so that's why we have to look at it a little bit differently. Okay. So let me go to the next one. I'm going to explain a little bit. I'm teaching a little bit in here so you can understand where I'm coming from. So in our lives, we have fault lines too. There's moments of pressure, there's transition, there's change. And if we meet those places with the force of love and practice of surrender, what looks like a fracture can actually form into a new movement. In healthcare, our fault lines often come with the grind, the burnout, the emotional exhaustion, the staffing crunches, all the things, the relentless demands. And it feels like literally you're shaking. You're about to break. It's like a breaking point. But I would like to say that that's actually your becoming points because burnout, as devastating as it was and it feels, it can also be the very place where you rise differently, stronger, clearer, more whole. I know for me, when I hit that point in 2010, every piece of ground felt like it was shifting beneath me. And so I had to find my footing, and I found my footing in the force of love. And that is caring science, the theory of caring science because that resonated with me. It ignited the little wick that was going out because of all of the stuff that I was dealing with. And so in our lives, these moments of pressure, transition, and change, if we meet those places with the force of love, then literally that force can make a difference in your life because you show yourself grace. So, what makes the difference between a fault line that breaks you and one that actually builds you up is the force that you meet it with. If you meet it with negativity, if you meet it with complaining, if you meet it with anger, it is going to take you down more shifting in the ground. But if you meet it with love, if you meet that force with love, it will give grace for you. It will give self-compassion for you. So, the reason why I wanna point out why I thought, um, the force was carrying science, because it's a theory rooted in love, authenticity, and wholeness. It gave me the permission to show up more authentically in those spaces and to align practice with my soul. It resonated with my soul. And it also helped me to reconnect the compassion in a deeper way that touches the heart of others. And it was love that steadied me, love that reminded me of my worth, love that reignited my why, love that contending force of love is what transforms those moments of shaking into movement and growth. And that's why I absolutely love it because when pressure meets love, something new is formed. The fault lines give birth to those mountains. And in us, when me, that burnout came and it was a pathway to me to have stronger boundaries. The exhaustion can awaken a deeper calling, and constant grinding can actually birth clarity about what really matters because you'll stop doing those things that don't serve you anymore. And then the last part, because I talked about the fault, I talked about the force, and now the formation is when we rise into the highest expression of who we are, not just as nurses, doctors, or healthcare people, caregivers, humanity, but really of humanity. We are free to love, free to lead, free to be who we were destined to be. I mean, there is no better place. Um, when you can feel that you're in your zone. And so that formation, let me talk about that a little bit before I get off. Fault lines, they don't just break the earth, they form mountains. What felt like the end of my story actually became the beginning of a new season. Matter of fact, it changed the whole trajectory of my career. And so it did not end me, it introduced me to a deeper, more authentic expression of who I was. It shifted me from surviving to truly leading and with heart and with purpose and becoming the ambassador now. Now I'm like spreading, carrying science all over the place. See, your formation can look like pressure that's formed into purpose, shaking turned into rising, cracks becoming new foundation, and burnout turned into breakthrough. Formation is when you discover that you were never meant to crumble, you were meant to rise. So, how do we move from thought to force to formation? I truly believe that it starts with surrender. Life's journey often resembles a winding road. I want you to imagine with me a winding road. I mean, think of a fall day, a winding road, and you got little leaves on the ground. You know, you can still kind of see the path a little bit, but the winding road, our lives, our journey is filled with unexpected curves and challenges. Along the way, we collect leaves. I'm going to say leaves. So you're here walking on this path, but let's say since 2020, you've collected leaves. And these are um, attitudes, beliefs, behaviors that you don't even like that are on you, that you show up with, but you don't like it. But because of the weight of what you're carrying, you've collected these leaves. It could be a bad attitude. It can be extreme exhaustion. It can be anger. It can be grief. Whatever that leaf is for you, I want you to see that leaf as you're walking down your path, because what happens is we collect leaves from hurt, from trauma that's not processed. We collect those things in our lives, and it causes us not to show up like our true authentic self. So the practice of surrender helps you to locate that. First, you have to acknowledge that you've collected leads because you're not in your flow state. You are a little bit short with people, or you're not as loving as you would like to be. And so you have to acknowledge that that's the thing. So I want you to write on a leaf. If you can get a leaf or a piece of paper or a sticky note, whatever it is. And I want you to write those things on a leaf. I did this exercise with my group yesterday and it was really powerful. So just write down, I mean, somebody had wrote down resentment, anger, hostility. I mean, they compassion fatigue. They wrote things on their leaves because they did not want to show up like that. And so the practice of surrender starts with just doing something. And so we acknowledged it. They wrote it on the leaf. And you know what I want you to do? I want you to take that leaf, because the second part is to shred and release. You got to get that out of you like you've never voiced it. So you're voicing it right now. And so you're writing it down. So say it was resentment or unforgiveness. And so you take that leaf and you go up to the shredder or you rip it, whatever you need to do. But it's like a physical representation of what you're getting ready to let go of. And so in the class, I had them shred it. And so resentment, they got up to the shredder, or I want you to get up to the shredder. And this is what, I want you to say. Resentment, I let you go. I let go of you, resentment. Now you're saying that with your own words, and it's not going to feel like you let go of it, but you have to start somewhere. So resentment, grief, moral injury, I let you go. Okay. You say that, you speak it out of your mouth loud, and then you shred it. All right. So that's the second step. And then, because now you are getting rid of things, you can open space for you to be more authentic. And so the third part is for you to reimagine. Reimagine your possibilities. Now that you've created space by releasing things that no longer serve you, what would you like to invite into your life? What do you wish to feel or experience or embody? You know, That's what you wanna go now with the second piece of paper or the second leaf, preferably a green leaf. You put your possibilities up there of how you wanna show up. That's your possibility leaf. Because maybe the journey isn't so much about becoming, but it's about unbecoming everything that's not like you so that you can become who you were truly destined to be. And so that's why this practice is so important. You get your possibility leaf and you put it before your face, put it on your mirror, put it on your refrigerator, wherever you need to put it so it can give you that reminder. So when you get into a slump, you'll see that now my path that was filled with all of these leaves that I've collected over the years of unprocessed trauma, now I'm letting those things go one by one, just letting them go. And now, because I'm doing that, I can actually see. My vision is brighter because when you have leaves piled all over your road, you can't see your vision clearly. You don't even remember, the why that you started with. So that's why it's so important for you to do that. So, anyway, that is my message for you today. And I know some of you guys will look at it later. I would love to hear from you. I think I opened up the comments. So let me hear from you and see what you think. Let me know what your fault lines are. What's the ground shaking beneath you? How do you want to show up? What do you need to get rid of? Engage with me, let me know. And then I'm going to end it with this aesthetic expression that I wrote for the class. And one thing that I found out that I was pretty creative when it comes to spoken word, poetry, things like that, that I actually have something that's coming out really soon, maybe next year. I'll do that in the beginning of next year. But this is called the seasons of love. There are seasons in our lives. Seasons when the ground beneath us feels steady, and seasons when the earth begins to quake, reminding us that nothing stays the same. Spring with the whisper of promises, summer with the blaze with passion, autumn will strip us bare, and winter will test the roots of who we are. But through it all, listen, there is a force greater than the shifting winds, greater than the trembling ground, greater than the falling leaves of loss. And that force is love. Love is the epicenter, the pulse beneath every heartbeat, the steady ground when seasons change. When autumn takes your leaves, love says, I am still your root. When winter chills your soul, love whispers, this is not your end, only a pause. And when summer burns bright, love reminds us, shine, not because the season is easy, but because you survived the shaking. So when your fault lines of life appear, when your why feels lost in the rubble, lean into love because love is the only force strong enough to carry you from one season of change to the next. And here's the truth, the seasons will always change, but love remains. Thank you so much. You're loved and appreciated, and you have a wonderful day.